Hello and welcome to the Rangers Rabble St Mirren preview pod. Tonight we're joined by Derrick on his debut. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, very good, William. How's yourself?
Good, mate, thanks. Wolf, how's everything going with the internet, mate? Is it okay?
Touch wood, it's okay, Willie. Touch wood at the
Good
moment.
stuff. Good. Right, we're just going to start off the preview pod a little bit differently, obviously, with the draw today for the UEFA Europa League. We drew Royal Antwerp. Did a little bit of investigatory work. They're obviously a kind of club that's kind of bounced up and down the divisions. They've had a link at one time with Manchester United, but I think we have to say that they look a reasonably good team. I'll come to you first, Derek. What do you know about them?
Well, I know they finished second in their group to Tottenham, which is no disgrace. They had Lask and Ludogorets, I believe, so they'll be half decent to qualify from that group. They also beat Spurs in Belgium as well, which we need to take note of and be wary of. If I can spin it back to being the Rangers, when I looked at the draw, they were probably one of my. We've obviously beat Standard Liège twice, so that bodes well for Antwerp for me. I'm really looking forward to the game. It's obviously in the back burner, just a tie. I feel that we can win and we can progress. They beat Spurs, as I say, so we need to be at our best. But that will suit us. They won't fancy playing us. That was the same for most of the teams we could have got. So all in all, it's a good draw and one we can progress.
Wolf, what about yourself, mate? What do you think of the draw?
I think it's quite a favourable draw. Can't look too much into how they're playing just now because obviously the game's not till the middle of February. It's about 6 weeks away. I had a quick look. Well, I didn't really. Somebody kind of put it on Twitter and I saw it. They're sitting mid-table. They've won less than half the league games this season. But interestingly, they're sitting on the same points as Standard Liège.
Yeah.
So if that's the barometer, then they're going to be a decent side because Liège, they were nobody's mugs.
No.
It'll be an interesting tie.
I think
if they're allowed a crowd, then it'll be interesting because the ground's not that big. The ground holds less than 13,000, so you'd imagine it'll be quite tight and compact. So if they're allowed a crowd, then that could possibly be quite intimidating.
Just looking at Royal Antwerp, I think they'll be, a decent team. When you look at the fact that the work permits obviously help a lot of the Belgian teams. They're able to bring in a lot of African players, a lot of South American players. So they're always dangerous. You always know that technically they're going to be able to kind of hurt you in the final third of the pitch. And I think, as you spoke about earlier, Derek, Spurs made a lot of changes, I think, when they went to Belgium, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they beat them. I think they also beat Ludogorets twice, and they beat Lask as well. So they won 4 out of the 6 group games would probably suggest they're a good team. So I think anybody who is underestimating them, will be dangerous. I think Standard Liège showed over the 2 games they were a pretty good outfit, and I think it will be a reasonably difficult 2 legs. I suppose the only other thing I was going to ask, do you think playing the away leg first benefits us at all, Derek?
I think we're more than capable of getting an away goal. I think that we've shown that in every game we've had. Obviously beating Braga and getting that goal over there. I think it will suit us. We're solid enough to go over there and try and hit in the break, and we're more than capable of coming back to Ibrox with at least a goal, in my opinion, if not a victory, and then hopefully we can see it off at home. We've been pretty strong at home as well, so all positive. I think it does favour us, and if we can nick that away goal, I'd make us massive favourites for the return.
Right. Well, what about yourself? Do you think having the away leg first actually suits us more than being at home first?
I don't think these days it makes that much difference. It's obviously you always say you're better to have the away leg first. Depends how you look at it. Yeah, as Derek says, it'd be great to go out there, at least get an away goal to bring back to Glasgow. But then, we got to a European final, getting 0-0s at home, then going away and finishing the job off. So it depends how you look at it, really. Yeah. But I think it's probably one of the fairer draws we could have got. I mean, there was a lot of chat beforehand about before the game last Thursday. It didn't really matter if we finished second. Well, I think the way the draw's panned out, has proved that it really did matter that we didn't finish second, because there's some really tidy ties in there because of who the seeded teams are.
Yeah, look, I think from a financial point of view, I'm not just dismissing Antwerp here by any stretch of the imagination, but if you get through another round financially for the football club, it's absolutely massive. The money the club made last year from the run was a hell of a lot of money for us, given where we've been in previous years. So if we could get to that stage again, it's absolutely massive for the football club on a financial basis. And just what you were saying earlier on, if we could get fans back inside the stadium and have that atmosphere, it would be absolutely brilliant if possible. But we'll obviously need to wait and see how things go over the next kind of 6 or 8 weeks. Right,
well,
just kind of moving on.
I'll get an apartment booked in Antwerp anyway, just in case. So.
Oh, you're some man. Well, if I might come and stay there, if I can get some flights, we'll see how it goes.
No problem. Fly to Amsterdam, take a train.
There we go. Just going to move on next to the St Mirren Cup tie, which is obviously what the pod was really about. Obviously, looking at the game earlier on this season when we played them at Ibrox, what did you make of them in that game, Derek? And do you think they'll have a similar style when we play them on Wednesday night?
I don't think they'll change too much from how they play most games. I think they're very defensive in their approach to most games they play, with a kind of 4-1-4-1 that they tend to like. They're pretty sturdy at the back. Our quality just shone through in the last game. I see it being very similar on Wednesday night. I see them sitting in trying to frustrate. I don't see them go and hoping they'll hit us on the break or be a set piece, probably more than likely. They're very dogged, very hard to play against. I've been quite impressed with them the last few times I've seen them. Obviously got a good off the back of a good result. They'll be confident. They also knocked Aberdeen out in the last round. I can see them just trying to frustrate, and it's up to us to try and break them down. I don't see it being too dissimilar to most of our games this season. We just need to make sure that we're up and at them and in their faces and make sure we keep moving the ball, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's fair, mate. Wolf, what about yourself? What did you make of them in the 3-0 game at Ibrox, and are you expecting anything different on Wednesday night?
I think St Mirren just do what St Mirren do. They only seem to play one way. As Derek says, they are quite defensive. They'll try and hit us on the break. I would imagine their game plan will be, right, at the moment the game starts, it's a draw. If we can get it to penalties, great. If we can sneak a goal, we sneak a goal. I think the important thing from my point of view is scoring first and scoring early. Because it's a cup tie, they'll have to come out at us.
Yeah.
They'll be quite content to sit at 0-0 for as long as they possibly can. And if it goes to penalties, then they'll take their chances.
Yeah, look, I think these are both right. I think St Mirren will start that game off with the mindset that they'll keep the game tight for as long as possible, and potentially maybe a counter-attack or a set play might be the difference. But I think we've shown this season that we can win games in different manners. We probably weren't at our best at Tannadice, but 2 set pieces were the difference during that game. And if that's what it takes on Wednesday night, then, I always feel confident, with this squad of players that we can get us over the line. Okay, just looking at the team that played against Dundee United compared to the game on Wednesday night, how many changes are we anticipating? Do you think there might just be like 1 or 2, or do you think we'll be up at 5 or 6, Derek?
Personally, I wouldn't change it too much. I'm a big fan of momentum in football. We got a big result on Sunday, big 3 points in the league race. I would make a couple to freshen it up. Maybe in the midfield area, I'll be bringing a Rebo into the team for a bit more creativity. And I think there'll be a change up front, either Forster or with Italy coming in for Morelos. But again, I like the fact that we keep the basis of the team together, mostly now for the bigger games. This is a massive game. A cup win changes the whole mentality of this club, and for me, that builds momentum going forward. So for me, it's a must win. I'd probably stay with pretty much the same team with a couple of changes involved, William.
Wolf, what about yourself, mate? Do you see many changes to the team that played at Tannadice?
I tend to agree with Derek. I don't think there'll be that many changes. I do expect a change up front. I think Big Cedric Hitton's done enough to start the game, but then I thought that for Sunday. So I expect him to start through the middle, or he might even change it up and put the 4 through the middle and put it out wide, and maybe give Kent a rest.
Yeah.
In midfield, I would expect Ryan Jack to come back in if he's fit. But this, whether Jacko's going to be available, but if he's available, I would expect to see Yeah, man.
Yeah, look, I was just going to say, I think when you look at like the squad rotation we've used recently, I think it's important that the players are getting kept fresh, and I think we might just see a couple of changes. I don't want to kind of overdo it. I don't know how close Helander is. I don't know maybe if Kovacs took a little bit more out of them than what maybe some supporters maybe thought it would. Maybe they're just trying to kind of gently put him back in there. He could be a potential change, but then you want to change a back four that's done pretty well recently, and it's won us a lot of games of football. I tend to agree with both of you. I think up front, it probably is time for Alfie to maybe sit on the bench, even though when we played them earlier on this season, he was obviously the man that scored 2 of the 3 goals, but it just feels like maybe it's time to give Cedric a couple of games, maybe the game on Wednesday night and then maybe the game on Saturday. We give him a wee run to hopefully, get a bit more confidence, get a few more goals, and then it just gives us a wee kickstart, because then from Alfredo's point of view, I know he wants to play, I know he wants to win games and score goals, but at the end of the day, it's all about the squad and all the players that are there, and they've all got to get a chance. And I would like to see Zungu play, but I tend to agree. I think we might see Aribo in the middle of the park, just because I think he's more of an attacking threat and he's got that little bit more creativity. Just looking at maybe kind of one other thing before we kind of move on. When you look at, like, obviously St Mirren and playing at that stadium and with it being a cup tie, does that make it like different from a league game? Does it have a different like kind of focus for the players, Derek? What do you think on that?
I think St Mirren players at whatever, I can't remember what it's called now, but the St Mirren Stadium we'll call it. They play it like a cup tie anyway. We've kind of struggled there in the league games. They're very, very hard to beat. They will take a draw right now and take us to penalties. I don't see their mentality changing. Obviously, they're 2 games away from a final as well, so there'll be that. They've not won a trophy in it. I think it's 2000, can't remember, but it's been a little while, so they'll be definitely up for it. There might be that certain bit of spice because of that. I honestly think St Mirren will just play the way they do against us normally, and hopefully they nick something. It's up to us to bring the tempo. For me, we need this trophy, in my opinion, and we've got to play like it.
Just looking at these one-off ties, is this just something that, as a player mentally, you just have to refocus and just think, St Mirren might bring the kitchen sink, or they'll just play as they normally play? Like, is there a different mentality in these kind of games?
For me, it's up to our mentality. As I said, I think St Mirren will play the way they always do. They'll try and frustrate. They'll try and make us rush passes and get a bit frustrated with ourselves. We need this win more than they do, in my opinion. They're happy to finish 11th or 10th this season. This trophy changes the mentality of our club if we can win it. So for me, we've got to take the game to them. But we might be a bit nervous, it is a big game, but we've certainly got to take the game to them and make sure we're strong and on the front foot.
Right, Wolf, hopefully your internet's back up and running again. Do you worry about these one-off ties against teams just because you know that if you have one bad performance, that's you out of the cup?
I worry about them, yeah, but I don't think the team, every time they get interviewed, on the management team, they always emphasise every game's a cup final. So if they're going into every game as being a cup tie or a cup final, then their mentality is not going to change. We haven't lost a game yet this season, and that's because of the way they're approaching the games. So I don't think they'll approach it any differently at all.
Right. Oh boy. Right, so basically just the usual last question to both of you guys. What are we predicting for the final score, Wolf? I'll come to you first.
Well, you know that it's going to be St Mirren 0. You know that's my prediction. Go for a fairly comfortable 2-0. All
right, Derek, what about yourself?
I think it will be. I was going to go 2-0 as well, with a slightly tighter game. I think we'll nick one in the first half, and we'll kind of huff and puff, and we'll finish off about 10-15 minutes to go. But Rangers win for me, William.
Yeah, I kind of feel similar to you guys. I don't think St Mirren will make it easy for us. I think they'll possibly have a back 5, and it might be, tough at times to try and get in behind these guys. It might be that we need, our 2 full-backs to be extra aggressive like they are most of the time, to be fair, and to get up the pitch and to try and push them back, and then hope that we're quality in the final third is as good as it's been most of this season. I think it's important that we get the first goal, the worst thing that could happen is they get the first goal, because it just gives them even more kind of mindset to drop deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's when it becomes almost impossible to try and break them. Like you see what Livingston did to us earlier on this season. It can be difficult breaking down these kind of teams. So yeah, like 2-0 would be a good result, you know, through to the next round of the Cup. And then we've obviously got another league game at the weekend. Right, guys, just want to say thanks very much for coming on tonight. Really appreciate you guys taking the time out to come on. Derek, thanks for coming on for the first time, mate. I appreciate that.
No problem, enjoyed it. Thanks very much for having me.
Cheers, Wolf, again, mate. I hope your internet's going to get sorted sooner rather than later so we can get through these things a wee bit quicker. Right, guys, just want to say thanks very much. Make sure you check us out on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube.
End of the year, mate.
We'll be getting this streamed out on Acast and Spotify. So please check us out. Thanks very much. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Good one.